I still remember the silence. That terrifying silence after the doctor looked at me and said, "Your blood test results are not normal." At first, I thought it was stress, fatigue, maybe lack of sleep. But deep down, my body had been whispering warnings for months. And I ignored every single one. I ignored the constant tiredness, the unexplained bruises, the nights I woke up drenched in sweat, the weakness, the fear, until one day, fear finally got louder than denial. And that was the day my life changed forever. Today, I want to share the 10 things that helped me fight through blood cancer emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. This is not a magical cure. This is not fake motivation. This is the raw truth about what helped me keep going when my world was collapsing. And if you're watching this while scared, confused, or trying to support someone you love, stay with me, because one of these lessons might save your spirit. Tip number 1. I stopped ignoring my body. The first mistake I made was pretending everything was fine. I kept saying, "I'm just tired. It will pass. I'm probably overthinking." But my body was trying to protect me. Sometimes we wait for pain to become unbearable before we take ourselves seriously. I learned that blood cancer symptoms can hide quietly. Fatigue, weight loss, frequent infections, swollen lymph nodes, night sweats, easy bleeding. Looking back now, my body had been speaking for months. I just refused to listen. The moment I stopped ignoring the signs and got tested, everything changed. Please hear me clearly. Early detection matters. Sometimes fear delays the very help we need. And honestly, one hospital visit can change the rest of your life. Tip 2. I learned that fear can destroy you faster than illness. The hardest battle wasn't physical. It was mental. The moment I heard the word cancer, my mind became a prison. I started imagining funerals. I started imagining suffering. I started imagining my life ending before I had truly lived. Fear became heavier than my body. But eventually, I realized something powerful. Fear steals today while worrying about tomorrow. So I began taking things one day at a time. Not 1 year. Not forever. Just today. Today, I will eat. Today, I will breathe. Today, I will fight. Today, I will survive this moment. That mindset saved me during my darkest nights. Because sometimes survival begins with surviving 1 hour at a time. Tip 3. I stopped Googling every symptom. This one almost destroyed my peace. Every night I searched. Blood cancer survival rate. Worst leukemia symptoms. How long do patients live? And every search made me feel like death was standing beside my bed. The internet can educate you, but it can also terrify you. I had to learn the difference between information and obsession. My doctors knew my condition better than random panic online. So I started protecting my mind. I limited what I watched. I avoided terrifying comment sections. I stopped feeding my anxiety every midnight. And slowly, my mind became calmer. Sometimes healing starts when panic stops. Tip 4. I accepted help instead of acting strong. One of the biggest lies I believed was, "I must carry this alone." So I smiled while secretly breaking apart. But cancer has a way of exposing human limits. Eventually, I became too exhausted to pretend. And that's when I discovered something beautiful. People truly wanted to help me. Some prayed. Some cooked for me. Some drove me to appointments. Some simply sat beside me in silence. And honestly, that silence healed me more than advice. If you're struggling right now, please remember, accepting help is not weakness. Even warriors need people beside them. Tip number 5. I started respecting my body again. Before cancer, I abused my body. Poor sleep, stress, skipping meals, ignoring exhaustion. I treated my body like a machine instead of a living miracle. But illness forced me to slow down. I began paying attention to what helped me feel stronger. More rest, more hydration, nutritious meals, following medical advice carefully, gentle movement when possible. No, these things alone do not magically cure blood cancer, but they helped support my body during treatment and recovery. I realized healing is not only about medicine. It is also about giving your body every possible chance to recover. Tip 6. I learned that hope is a form of strength. There were days I wanted to quit. Days when treatment exhausted me. Days when pain made me question everything. Days when I stared at the ceiling wondering if life would ever feel normal again. But hope kept returning in small ways. A good test result, a peaceful morning, a laugh, a prayer, a friend calling unexpectedly. Hope isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers, keep going. And sometimes that whisper is enough to carry you another day. Tip 7. I stopped asking why me. I tortured myself with that question. Why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? But eventually I realized, some questions have no satisfying answers. Life can be painfully unfair, and constantly asking, why me, trapped me in bitterness. So instead, I slowly changed the question. What can I still do with the life I have today? That shift changed my perspective. I stopped seeing myself only as a victim. I started seeing myself as a human being still capable of love, meaning, and purpose, even in suffering. Tip 8. I found strength in other survivors. One of the most powerful moments of my journey was meeting people who had survived what terrified me. People who once sat in hospital rooms crying like I did. People who thought their lives were over. Yet there they were, smiling, living, working, dreaming again. Their stories gave me courage. Because when you feel hopeless, seeing someone survive becomes proof that darkness is not always permanent. Sometimes another person's survival becomes the light guiding you forward. Tip 9. I learned to cherish small moments. Before illness, I was always chasing bigger things. More money, more success, more plans. But sickness changes your relationship with time. Suddenly, ordinary moments become sacred. Drinking tea peacefully, watching sunlight through a window, hearing laughter, walking outside, feeling normal for one afternoon. I learned that life is not only made of huge achievements. Sometimes life is simply still being here, still breathing, still loving, still hoping. And honestly, that realization changed me forever. Tip 10. I realized that life is fragile for all of us. Cancer forced me to confront something most people spend their lives avoiding. We are fragile. None of us truly know how much time we have. And strangely, that realization made me more alive. I started appreciating people more. I started speaking kinder words. I stopped postponing meaningful things. Because life is unpredictable. And sometimes we only understand the value of living after standing close to loss. If you're watching this while fighting blood cancer, I want you to know this. You are not weak for being afraid. You are not weak for crying. You are not weak for struggling. Some battles happen quietly inside hospital rooms, and they are still battles. And if you are supporting someone with cancer, please don't underestimate the power of your presence. Sometimes sitting beside someone in silence is more healing than words. If this story touched you in any way, leave a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me your story. Or simply write, keep fighting. Because somewhere in this world, somebody desperately needs to read those words today. And remember, hope is still alive, even in dark places.